Hi there. In this video we're going to have a look at word problems whereby we have to come up with an equation and then solve it. So for each of these questions, pause the video, have a read of the question, and then I'll go over the solutions. Number 1. So we've got Jackie. She gets X% correct in her first maths test. So I'm just going to write X here, and X is the mark in her first test. So with any word problem, at some point you need to come up with some variable. So in this case we're looking at marks in a test, so percentage marks, and we don't know what those percentage marks are, so we're going to let X equal the mark in the first test. Second sentence says, in her second test a few weeks later, she received a mark that was double what she got in her first test. So if I just make a note here, in the second test, she got double what she got in the first test. So in the second test, she got 2 times X. The third test, she got 20 more than in test 1. So this is test 1's mark. So 20 more means plus 20. So in the third test, she got X plus 20. So as you're reading through the question, sometimes it's good just to jot down some of these few notes here. Her total was 180, and we need to find the marks in each test. So the total, that means the mark in her first test plus the second test mark plus the third test mark is equal to 180. So if we go X plus 2X plus X plus 20, so we're adding all the marks together, the total is 180. So this is our equation that we've come up with. Now we're going to solve that equation to find X. So I've got X plus 2X plus X. That will give me 4X, and then plus 20 equals 180. So equations, remember, we're going, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we need to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. When I do that, I'm left with 4X on the left-hand side and 160 on the right. So 4X equals 160, dividing both sides by 4. I end up with X equal to 40. So that was her grade for the first test, so 40% in first test. Therefore, in the second test, so in the second test here, she got double what she got in the first test, so 2 times 40% will give me 80%. And then in the third test, she got the first test mark plus 20. So 40 plus 20 is 60%. Let's have a look at number 2. So we've got Karina's, that should be lucky there, lucky number is multiplied by 4 and 9 subtracted from the result. This gives 19. What is her lucky number? So what I'm going to do is her lucky number, I'm not sure what it is, so I'm going to call it X, and so X is equal to her lucky number. So you want to just make a note of what X is. So you want to come up with this at the beginning. So what do we know? We know that her lucky number is multiplied by 4, so that will give us 4X. So this is the beginnings of our equation. 9 is subtracted from the result. So from 4X, I'm going to subtract 9. This gives means equals. This gives 19. So here is our equation. Let's solve it to work out X. 4X minus 9, that minus 9 there, I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So when I do that, I get 4x equals 28, and then 4x equals 28, divide both sides by 4. So end up with x equals 7. So her lucky number is 7. Okay, number 3. When Anne was born, so this is an age question. When Anne was born, her father was 32 years old. If her father is now 5 times her present age, how old is she? So wherever it asks you to work out something, like in this case it's asking you to work out how old is she, then you come up with your variable. So because Anne starts with A, let's use the letter A. So A is her age now. So her present age now. So we're going to use A as our variable. And with these age questions, especially when we're talking about time, it's really helpful and visual to use a table. So I've got Anne and her dad, and we've got 2 different periods of time. So if I make up a table like this, okay, so Anne and her dad when she was born. So if I make that heading born, so this is when Anne was born. Anne's age was 0 and her dad's age was 32. Then in the second column, or in the third column, we're looking at now, so the present. Anne's age, we don't know what her age is, but we've used we've used A to represent her age now. So I'm going to put A here. And then in this box it says her father is now 5 times her present age. So I can write in this box here 5A, or 5 times A. What I can also write is that when she was born, he was 32. So now, that is in the present time, a number of years have passed. Okay, so in this box here, I can write something else. So in that box, that means 5, whatever's in that box, which is 5A. 5A is also equal to 32 plus the number of years that have gone by. So 32 plus A. So these 2 things are equivalent. So now we can write our equation. So 5A is equal to 32 plus A. So that 32 is the dad's age when she was born, plus the number of years that have gone by, which is just a number of years, because that's just how old Anne is now. So let's solve this equation. I can subtract A from both sides. Okay, and what that does is it collects my A's together. So when I do that, I'm left with 4A equals 32. So those 2 cancel. Oops, that one and that one. And then just dividing both sides by 4. So A is equal to 8. So last thing in a word problem, just write a little sentence. Anne is now 8 years old. Okay, last question, another age question. Amy is 6 years younger than Brooke. Carol is half the age of Amy. Find all of Amy's age, then Brooke's age and Carol's age, if the mean of the ages is 17. So first of all, we want to find Amy's age. So let's let's let A equal Amy's age. Okay, because the other 2 girls, Brooke and Carol, their ages are somewhat related to Amy's age, we're not going to use B or C to be Brooke and Carol's age. We're going to come up with expressions for Brooke's age and Carol's age that are related to Amy's age. So let's just draw up another table. So I've got Amy, I've got Brooke, and I've got Carol, And what I do know about Amy is that her age is A. So I'm going to call her age A. Amy is 6 years younger than Brooke, which means that Brooke is 6 years older than Amy. So 6 plus Amy's age will be Brooke's age. So this will be, for Brooke's age, I will have Amy's age plus 6. So that's the expression for Brooke's age using Amy's age. Then it says Carol is half the age of Amy. So half the age of Amy. So half times A. Then it says that the mean of their ages is 17. So the mean, you add up all the values and you divide by the number of values. So we've got 3 girls, so we're going to divide by 3, which means we add all their ages together. So we add those 3 expressions. So A plus Brooke's age plus Carol's age. Divide that by 3 to get our mean, and it says that the mean is 17. So this is our equation that we're going to solve. Let's add or simplify the numerator or the top line first. So I've got A plus half of A will give me 2.5A, and I'm just going to change that into an improper fraction. So 2.5 is the same as 5 over 2. So 5 over 2A. So on the top line, and just remember I've still got that plus 6 there, on the top line I will have 5 over 2A plus 6, that is all divided by 3 equals 17. So I know we don't normally write this fraction here. You could put 2.5A if you wanted to, but still it's somewhat not good number practice to write a fraction over a fraction. But because we're going to be solving this and getting rid of the fractional part, specifically this denominator here, we'll end up with an equation that looks okay. So this whole thing is divided by 3. So to deal with this denominator of 3, I am going to multiply both sides by 3. So when I do that, these two cancel each other, and I'm just left with 5 over 2A plus 6 on that side equals 17 times 3 is 51. Okay, so now this is a little bit more simpler. We can now subtract 6 from both sides, so to deal with that plus 6 there. So if I subtract 6 from both sides, I end up with 51 minus 6 is 45. I've got a fractional equation here, so to get rid of this 2, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So when I do that, I end up with those two cancelling. I'm just left with 5A here is equal to 90, and then A is equal to 90 divided by 5, and that is 18. So A is 18. What does that mean? If I scroll back up, that means that Amy is 18. Now I can work out Brooke and Carol's age. Brooke was 6 years older than Amy, so Brooke is 24, and Carol is half times A, so half of 18 is 9, so Carol is 9. So just scroll back down so that you can have a look at that working. Thanks for watching.